Assalamualaikum to my panel, Professor Madya Dr. Muhammad Nizam Muhammad Shafi'i and Dr. Muhammad Haidir Muhammad Yusof. So my name is Muhammad Ishamuddin bin Maskuri and my metric number is 2023371641. So today I want to present the proposal defense. So this is my structure of presentation. So let's get started. Alright, so first of all, my title is The Difference Between Autocratic and Democratic Coaching Style on Motivation among UiTM Shah Alam. Alright, so now we moving to the problem statement. So first of all, first point is many coaches still use an autocratic or controlling coaching style to maintain discipline. However, this approach can negatively affect the athlete mental health and well-being to reduce their intrinsic motivation. Second is the university student athlete must balance academic sport commitment when coaching style are too rigid. And the last point is the limited research is the Malaysian university context. The most existing studies are based on Western setting, highlight the need for local evidence to support more effective coaching setting. Alright, so we move to the research question. So I have 5 research questions, which is the first is there a significant difference between autocratic and democratic coaching style in influencing motivation among student athlete at UiTM Shah Alam? Number 2 is what are the level of autocratic and democratic coaching style perceived by student athlete at UiTM Shah Alam? Number 3 is what is the level of motivation among student athlete at UiTM Shah Alam? And number 4 is how does this autocratic coaching style influence motivation among student athlete at UiTM Shah Alam? And number 5 is how does this democratic coaching style influence motivation among student athlete at UiTM Shah Alam? Alright, so we move to the research objective. So I have 4 research objectives. So the first is to identify the level of motivation among students at UiTM Shah Alam. Number 2 is to examine the influence of autocratic coaching style on the motivation of students at UiTM Shah Alam. Number 3 to examine the influence of democratic coaching style on the motivation of students at UiTM Shah Alam. And the last one is to compare the difference between autocratic and democratic coaching style in influencing motivation among student athletes at UiTM Shah Alam. Alright, so now we move to the research hypothesis. So I have 2 research hypotheses. So the first is the null hypothesis. There is no significant difference in motivation between students who experience autocratic coaching style and students who experience democratic coaching style at UiTM Shah Alam. Number 2 is alternative hypothesis. There is a significant difference in motivation between students who experience autocratic coaching style and students who experience democratic coaching style at UiTM Shah Alam. Alright, so now we move to the significance of study. So the first is bridge knowledge gap. Bridge the knowledge gap. This study provide the specific data on Malaysian university athlete that we currently lack, helping us understand of local sport environment. Number 2 is empower coaches and athletes. By understanding the impact of their coaching style, coach can improve their methods and their lead the higher motivation, better mental health and improve performance of athlete. And the last is it support policy of institutional development. The research serve as a guide for university to create a better sport policies and training program are the modern and suitable for the Malaysian context. Alright, so now we move to the limitation and limitation. So I have 3 limitations, which is the first is focus on UiTM Shah Alam. Number 2 is focus on autocratic and democratic coaching style. And number 3 is focus on athlete motivation as the main outcome. Alright, so we move to limitation. So the first is limited generalizability of finding. So since the research is conducts or at the only one campus, so the result may not fully represent student athlete from either universities. Number 2 is the use self-report questionnaire data. Their accuracy of the finding depends on the honestly and personal perception of the represent the when the answer the survey. Alright, so I have five assumption, which is the first is harness responses from participant. Number two is clear understanding of questionnaire item. Number three is minimal influence of temporary factor. Number four is representative sample, and the last one is consist exposure to coaching style. Alright, so now we move to operational term. I have six operational term, which is the first is autocratic coaching style, democratic coaching style, motivation, student, and UiTM inshallah. So now we move to the literature review. So in this section, I provide to organize analysis of coaches as a critical social actor who shape and the athlete psychological experience and long-term engagement. Alright, so I have established of a framework using up-to-date research from the 5 past years ago to similar to the Malaysian highest education environment. Alright, so now we move to concept of coaching style. So concept of coaching style is the coaching style is a multidimensional pattern of behavior. It's combined to technical instruction and with socio-emotional to support the influence how an athlete perform and feels about their sport. So we move to the autocratic coaching style. This is characterized by strict coach control while it may drive immediate result. Research suggests it can negatively impact long term and of the athlete. Right. So now we move to democratic coaching style. This is emphasize share the decision making. This style is often linked to the higher intrinsic motivation and better team cohesion, especially in the university sport setting. Alright, so now we move to the athlete motivation in sports. So athlete motivation in sport is to refer to the internal and external factor that influence the athlete effort and persistence. So we go through the factor influencing athlete motivation. So this is a psychological needs and social support. Supportive and participative coaching is increased in motivation while controlling style often the reduce it. So number three is the student athlete motivation in university context. So university student athlete must balance the academic sport. A democratic coaching style helps to maintain the intrinsic motivation. So we move to the comparative studies. We move to the relationship between coaching style and athlete motivation. So I have two relationship, which is the first is autocratic style and motivation. So this is a very top-down focusing of strict control and following rules, while it might the help performance in the short term and often hurt to the athlete in the long run by the reducing their sense in of independence and overall satisfaction. Number two is democratic style and motivation. On the other hand, we have a democratic style. This approach encourage athletes to participate and share the decision making because it's certified to the psychological needs. It leads to much better to intrinsic motivation and keeps athletes engaged with the sport to the longer periods. Alright, so now we move to comparative study. So comparative study show the democratic coaching style is more effective in enhance athletes as intrinsic motivation and long-term commitment, while autocratic coaching is the mainly perceptive perceptive to the technical compliance. Alright, so now we move to the conclusion. So this our conclusion of the literature reviews. So despite intensive research and of the coaching style, there are limited context-specific evidence on how autocratic and democratic coaching style influence the motivation. Alright, so now we move to the research design. So this study adopt a quantitative causal comparative research design to examine the difference in motivation between student athlete exposed to autocratic and democratic coaching style at UiTM Shah Alam. So So we move to the sample. So the population is the student athletes at UiTM Shah Alam. So sampling techniques, if we go to the purposive sampling. So number three is sample size. We need to the approximately 18 student athlete, and the last point is inclusion and exclusion data and exclusion criteria. So inclusion needs to active student athlete currently training under a coach and UiTM Shah Alam student. Exclusion is non-athlete or and the injured or inactive athlete. So we move to this my G power data. So while the initial G power analysis indicates that a minimum of 54 participant is required to achieve the sufficient statistical power. The sample size will be increased to 18 people. This adjustment is instead to the account for a potential attrition rate and to the ensure that is the study maintain its reliability even if some participant withdraw or provide incomplete data. Alright, so I have two instrumentation. So the first I used is questionnaire and number two is Google Form. Alright, so this procedure, first is permission and consent, number two is participate selection, number three is instrumentation preparation, number four is data collection, number five is data screening, and the last one is data analysis. Right, so for the data analysis, I used to the independent t-test. Independent t-test was conducted to examine whether there a significant difference in motivation between student athlete under autocratic and democratic coaching style. So this my reference for our presentation I use. So that's all from me. Thank you.